Human eye and the colorful world. The human eye is an amazing organ that helps us to see the world around us. It's like a sophisticated camera with parts that work together to capture light and send messages to our brain, allowing us to understand shapes, colors, and movement. The resolution of human eye is calculated about 576 megapixels. The latest mobile phones may have best cameras, but their resolution is not even 1/4 of the human eye resolution. Learning about how the eye functions not only teaches us about our ability to see, but also shows us how important our vision is for everything we do, from reading and playing sports to enjoying art and nature. Let us begin this chapter with structure and functions of the human eye. Parts of the human eye. This is cornea. This is iris. This is crystalline lens. This is pupil. These are ciliary muscles. This is aqueous humor. This is vitreous humor. This is retina. This is optic nerve, and this is blind spot. Now let us study each part in details. Cornea. It is a thin, transparent, spherical membrane covering the front part of the eye. Light enters our eye through this membrane. So it is the outer, protective membrane of the eye. Crystalline lens. It is also called as eye lens. It is a soft and flexible jelly-like material which is made up of proteins. It is a convex lens and helps to focus images on the retina. The lenses are transparent and flexible. That means the light can easily pass through them, and at the same time their shape can be modified. Iris. Iris is a dark muscular diaphragm present between cornea and lens. It controls the size of the pupil. That means the iris can make the pupil big and small. Pupil. It is a small hole through which the light passes. It regulates the amount of light entering the eye. When the light is low, the pupil opens up completely to allow more light into the eye. When the light is low, the pupil opens up completely to allow more light into the eye. That means when we enter a dark room, then the light is very low. We will not be able to see anything. But after some time, we will be able to see certain things. That means our iris muscles, they make the pupil big and allowing more light into the eye. So when the light slowly enters our eye, then we will be able to see the things even in low light. In the same way, when the light is bright, very bright, if the bright light enters the eye, the inner parts like retina gets damaged. So the pupil becomes very small and reduces the amount of light that enters the eye. So the size of the pupil is controlled by the contraction and relaxation of iris muscles. And this iris, it adjusts the size of the pupil. Ciliary muscles. These muscles hold the lens in position and help in changing the shape of the lens. The shape of the lens or the curvature of the lens is modified by the action of these ciliary muscles. Next, retina. Retina is a delicate membrane which consists of numerous light-sensitive cells. It acts like a screen. The light that enters our eye, it gets casted on this screen-like structure called retina. The cells in the retina are light-sensitive cells. They get activated when light falls on them, and these light signals are converted to electrical signals. That means the retina converts the light into electrical signals. The light-sensitive cells of retina are of two types. 1. Rod cells. 2. Cone cells. Rod cells are responsible for vision in low light. That means they are helpful in the nighttime vision. Cone cells are active at high light levels. They also help us in recognizing the colors. That means Our daytime vision is mostly based on cone cells. Optic nerve. It transmits the electrical signals that are generated by the cells of retina to brain. So the electrical signals or the information that is collected by the eye is transferred to the brain through these optic nerves. Blind spot. This is an area on the retina. It is the place at where the optic nerve is connected to the eye. That means at the blind spot, the retina is connected to the optic nerve. Aqueous humor. The space between cornea and eye lens is filled by a transparent liquid called aqueous humor. It keeps the cornea moist and it also provides nutrition to the eye. Vitreous humor. The space between the eye lens and retina is filled with a liquid called vitreous humor. The vitreous humor helps the eye to keep its shape. Power of accommodation. Power of accommodation is the ability of eye lens to adjust its focal length. The eye lens is made up of fibrous, jelly-like transparent material. The change in the shape of the eye lens changes the curvature of the lens. The contractions and relaxations of ciliary muscles can modify the shape of the lens. To view the distant objects, that means far off objects clearly, the ciliary muscles get relaxed and the lens becomes thin. Then the focal length gets increased and we can see the far objects clearly. So to see a far object, the ciliary muscles must be relaxed. When the ciliary muscles are relaxed, then the lens becomes thin. Then the focal length gets increased and we will be able to see distant objects. Now, to see the objects closer to the eye clearly. So if the object is very close to the eye, then the ciliary muscles contract. So this increases the curvature of the eye lens. Then the eye lens becomes thicker and the focal length of the eye lens decreases. This enables us to see the nearby objects clearly. Far point of the eye. Far point of the eye means maximum distance to which eye can see clearly is called far point of the eye. It is infinity for a normal eye. For a normal eye, the far point is infinity. Now, near point of the eye. The minimum distance at which an object can be seen clearly without any strain is called the least distance of distinct vision. That means you will be able to see your notes or textbook at some distance from your eye. If you bring your book close to the eyes, then your vision will be blurred and your eyes feel some strain. So at which distance you will be able to clearly see without any strain is the near point of the eye. The near point for a normal eye of an adult is about 25 centimeters. Cataract. For some people at their old age, the crystalline lens becomes milky and cloudy. This condition is called cataract. So this cataract, it causes partial or complete loss of vision. So this can be corrected by a cataract surgery. That is, by means of surgery, they will remove the milky and cloudy parts of the eye lens. We have two eyes for vision and not just one. Do you know why? A human being has a horizontal field of view about 150 degrees with one eye and about 180 degrees with two eyes. So this type of vision is called as stereotypic vision. Faint objects cannot be seen properly with a single eye. So we need a pair of eyes for proper vision. And we cannot get the depth perception also with single eye vision. If we wanted to know the exact depth or the 3D view of an object, we need to have a pair of eyes. Defects of human eye. What is defective vision? When a person cannot see the objects clearly and comfortably, it is called as defective vision. It happens when the power of accommodation of eye is reduced. It leads to a blurry vision which causes strain to eyes. The defective vision of human eye is mainly of three types. 1. Myopia, 2. Hypermetropia, and 3. Presbyopia. Let's see myopia. This defect of eye is called nearsightedness. Persons with this defect can see the nearby objects clearly but cannot see the far objects clearly. We learned that the normal far point of human eye is infinite, but for myopic persons, the far point is less than the infinity. That is, in myopic persons, the far point will be only a few meters. So, if any object is beyond that limit, then they will not be able to see it clearly. So such condition is called myopia. Myopia means not able to see the far objects clearly. We know that when the image of an object is casted on the retina, then we will be able to see it clearly. But whereas in myopia, the image is casted in front of the retina, not on the retina. So this leads to blurry vision. Then how can we correct it? How can we make the image is casted on the retina? This can be done by using concave lens. Concave lens makes the image to fall on retina. So by that, the myopic person can see the far objects clearly. Then what are the reasons for myopia? There are two reasons for myopia. 1. Excessive curvature of the eye lens. So if the eye lens, it gets excessive curvature, then it leads to myopia. And second one is elongation of eyeball. So if the eyeball is elongated, then it also leads to myopia. Next one, hypermetropia. This defect of eye is called farsightedness. Persons with this defect can see the far objects clearly, but cannot see the nearby objects clearly. We learned that the normal near point of human eye is 25 centimeters. But for a hypermetropic person, the near point is farther away from 25 centimeters. That means beyond 25 centimeters. So at 25 centimeters distance, they will not be able to see it clearly. Their vision will be blurred. So when they read any book or they see their mobile phone, they keep them far away from their eye and try to read them. So hypermetropic persons always keep reading material much beyond the 25 centimeters from the eye for comfortable reading. This is because the light rays from the close-by objects are focused at a point behind the retina. Then how this can be corrected? This can be corrected by using a convex lens. It makes the image to fall on retina, so by that the myopic person can see the nearby objects clearly. Now let's see the reasons for hypermetropia. There are two reasons for this defect. This defect arises either because of 1. The focal length of the eye lens is too long, or 2. The eyeball has become too small. Next one, presbyopia. Presbyopia is the gradual loss of your eye's ability to focus on nearby objects. They find it difficult to see nearby objects comfortably and distinctly without corrective eyeglasses. This defect arises due to the gradual weakening of the ciliary muscles and diminishing flexibility of the eye lens. So here there are two reasons for this presbyopia. 1. Gradual weakening of ciliary muscles. So the ciliary muscles cannot contract and relax properly, so by that they will not be able to focus on the close-by objects or nearby objects. And second one is the diminishing flexibility of the eye lens. So the eye lens are transparent and flexible, jelly-like material. But due to with aging, they lose their flexibility, they become rigid. So due to this rigidity, the eye lens cannot adjust properly. In some cases, some people suffer from both myopia and hypermetropia. In such cases, bifocal lenses needed for proper vision. A common type of bifocal lenses consists of both concave and convex lens. The upper portion consists of concave lens, it helps in distant vision, and the lower part is convex lens, it facilitates near vision. These days, the refractive defects are corrected with contact lenses or through surgical procedures. Refraction of light through prism. This is a triangular prism. It has 2 triangular bases and 3 rectangular surfaces. These surfaces are inclined to each other. The angle between its 2 lateral faces is called the angle of the prism. Let us pass some laser light through this prism at some angle. The light rays get deviated and emerges out from the other side. Now, let us draw the normal for the incident ray and the emergent ray. Now, this is the incident ray. This is the deviated ray and this is the emergent ray. Now extend the incident ray and emergent ray. They both meet at a point. The angle of these two rays at this point is the angle of deviation. Dispersion of white light by a glass prism. If we pass white light through a prism, it splits into 7 colors. This is called dispersion of light. The phenomenon of splitting of white light into its constituent colors when it passes through a prism is called dispersion. Do you know why we cannot see the different colors when the light is traveling in air or vacuum? The light rays of different colors travel with the same speed in vacuum and in air. So, we do not see the colors separately. But in other mediums, they travel with different speeds and bend through different angles, which leads to dispersion of light. So when white light or sunlight is dispersed, we will get a band of 7 colors called as spectrum of sunlight. They include violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, red, simply called as VIBGYOR. Isaac Newton was the first to split the sunlight using a glass prism. He placed a second identical prism in an inverted position with respect to the first one and allowed the spectrum to pass through it. Then he observed that a beam of white light is emerged from the other side of the second prism. That means when a beam of white light is passed through a prism, it split into 7 colors. And again when the spectrum is passed through a prism, again it unites to form a beam of white light. Now let's see rainbow. Rainbow is a natural spectrum formed by raindrops. It always forms opposite to the sunlight. Here the water droplets act as small prisms. When sunlight hits the raindrops, they refract and disperse the incident sunlight. Then they reflect it internally and finally refract it again when it comes out of the raindrop. Atmospheric refraction. Atmospheric refraction is the bending of light as it passes through the Earth's atmosphere, causing objects which are near to the horizon to appear slightly higher than they actually are. Atmospheric refraction means it is the bending of light. When the light it passes through the Earth's atmosphere. So when the light enters from space to the atmosphere, then there will be bending of light. So this bending of light it makes the objects appear slightly higher. Which objects? The objects which are near to the horizon of the Earth. So the objects which are near to the horizon of the Earth, they appear slightly higher than their actual position. So this is called as atmospheric refraction. Now let us see the effects of atmospheric refraction. Apparent position of the stars. The apparent position of the stars refers to their observed location in the night sky. That means in the night time, we see the stars at a different position which is not their actual position. Why it happens like? This is the original position of the star. But due to the atmospheric refraction, it appears to be at another position which is called as apparent position. The density of the air near the Earth is more to the density of the atmosphere towards the space. As we go up in the atmosphere, the density of the air decreases because due to the gravity, the air is thick closer to the Earth and the air is thin towards the space. So the density of the air is more near the Earth. So this makes the refractive index of the atmosphere gradually increases top to bottom. So the refractive index of the atmosphere, it increases from top to bottom. As the light enters into the atmosphere, as it reaches the surface of the Earth, the refractive index of the atmosphere increases. Due to this changing refractive index, the starlight bends towards the normal. So because of this, we see the star at slightly different position from its actual position. The star appears slightly higher than its actual position when viewed near the horizon. So the new position of the star is called apparent position of the star. Now let us see how the phenomena of twinkling of stars takes place. The air in the atmosphere does not have the uniform temperature and density. That means different layers of the air will have different temperature and different density. So different regions of atmosphere will have different refractive index because there is difference in their temperatures. This part of the air may have different temperature and this part of the air may have other temperature. So there is a difference in the temperatures and there is a difference in the density of the air. So all layers of the air do not have the same density. So the path of rays of light coming from the star goes on varying slightly. That means it is not passing in a straight line. Its direction slightly changes because of the changes in the atmosphere. Certain part of the atmosphere may be cold, certain part of the atmosphere may be hot. And even the densities of the atmosphere also may vary. So because of this, the light ray is changing its direction slightly. So the apparent position of the star fluctuates. The apparent position of the star, it fluctuates because due to the differences in the atmosphere, temperature of the atmosphere. And the amount of starlight entering the eye, it flickers. So the star sometimes appears brighter and at some time fainter. This gives the twinkling effect. So what is the twinkling effect? The twinkling effect is that the stars appear like they are glowing and becoming dull glowing again. So this is the twinkling effect. So it happens because of the variations in the temperature and density of the atmosphere. If it is the case, then why don't planets twinkle? Why it is not applied to the planets? Planets do not twinkle like stars because they are much closer to Earth and appears as small extended disks rather than point source of light. Planets are not point source of light. So many points of light come from the planets since they are bigger and they are closer to the Earth. They are not single point source of light. So this phenomena happens only in single point source of light. That is in case of stars. So in case of planets, the light coming from them consists of multiple points across their surface. So not a single point, multiple points. So the combined effect of all these multiple points of light helps to average out the atmospheric turbulence. So it cancels out the atmospheric turbulence because the light rays are coming from multiple points. So it results in a steadier and less twinkling appearance. So that is the reason why the planets do not twinkle whereas the stars twinkle. Advanced sunrise and delayed sunset. Let us see how this phenomena happens. When sun rises above the horizon, it is called as sunrise, and when the sun downs below the horizon, it is called sunset. Then what is the horizon? The horizon is the line that separates the earth from the sky. When the sunlight enters the atmosphere, due to the atmospheric refraction, it bends and the sun becomes visible to us before crossing the horizon. So the sun is below the horizon. The sun did not cross the horizon, but still sun is visible to us. How? Because the sunlight, it is bent in the atmosphere and we will be able to see the sun. So this is not the actual position of the sun. It is the apparent position of the sun. So due to the atmospheric refraction, the sun is visible to us about 2 minutes before the actual sunrise. So before the actual sunrise, 2 minutes before the actual sunrise, we will be able to see the sun because of atmospheric refraction. So that position of sun is called apparent position of the sun. And in the same way, and about 2 minutes after the actual sunset. So the sunset is done. Sun is down the horizon, but still we'll be able to see because of the atmospheric refraction. That is 2 minutes after the actual sunset, we will be able to see the sun. Scattering of light. When a particle comes in the path of a light ray, it gets reflected and scattered in all directions. So the reflection of light from an object in all directions is called scattering of light. So when a particle comes in the path of a light ray, when the light ray hits that particle, the light ray gets reflected in different directions. It is called scattering of light. So this scattering is responsible for blue color of the sky and reddening of the sun. Next, Tyndall effect. The Earth's atmosphere is a transparent medium in which particles like dust, smoke and tiny water droplets are freely suspended. So our atmosphere contains so many particles like dust, smoke and tiny water droplets. So the atmosphere looks very clear, transparent, but still it contains so many particles like dust, smoke and tiny water droplets. When a beam of light passes through this medium, that light illuminates these suspended particles. That means the light makes these particles glow and suddenly they become visible to us. For example, in a closed room, if a beam of light is entering through a window, then you can see all the dust particles they are glowing, they are illuminated. So this phenomena was first observed by John Tyndall, hence it is named as Tyndall effect. So when a beam of light passes through a medium in which particles like dust, smoke and tiny water droplets are freely suspended, it illuminates these suspended particles. This phenomena is called Tyndall effect. Now let's see the color of sky. Sunlight is composed of spectrum of colors, we know that. So these spectrum of colors, each light has got different wavelength. These colors range from red with longer wavelengths to violet with shorter wavelengths. So there is difference in the wavelength of these light rays. Red, longer wavelength, and violet with shorter wavelength. When sunlight enters the Earth's atmosphere, it encounters tiny particles in molecules. But here, blue and violet light rays have shorter wavelengths, are scattered more by these small particles. So blue and violet, they have very short wavelengths. Because of the short wavelength, they are more scattered compared to the other light rays. So blue and violet rays have shorter wavelengths, are scattered more by these small particles and molecules than longer wavelengths like red and yellow. As a result, when sunlight enters the atmosphere, the blue and violet wavelengths are scattered in all directions by these particles. It makes the sky to appear predominantly blue during the daytime. This is the reason why we see the sky in blue color. Actually, there is no color. But the blue and violet light rays since they have the shorter wavelengths, they are more scattered by the dust particles present in the atmosphere. Other colors are not scattered. That's why the sky appears blue, because the blue light is scattered. So that is the reason for the blue color of the sky. If Earth has no atmosphere, then there would not have been any scattering, then the sky would look dark. That is the reason why the sky appears dark to passengers flying at very high altitudes. Why stop signals and danger signals lights are red? So we see the stop signals and danger signals, they'll be usually in red color. Why? Is there any specific reason? Yes. Danger signal lights are red in color because red is least scattered light by fog or smoke particles. So earlier we discussed that the wavelength of red light is more, so it is not easily scattered by the dust particles. So therefore it can be seen in the same color even at large distance. So this light is visible to large distances. That's why red color is used for danger signal. Color of sun at sunrise and sunset. Sun gets a specific red color during sunrise and sunset. Why? Let's see the reason. During sunrise and sunset, light from the sun passes through a thick layer of atmosphere and larger distance before reaching our eyes. When the sun is at horizon, the sun rays, they travel long distance in the atmosphere. The path they travel in the atmosphere is very long. When the light enters the atmosphere, then most of the blue light of short wavelength is scattered away. That means blue light is filtered. From the light that comes, the blue light is scattered and filtered. So since the blue light is scattered away, the other wavelength light reaches our eyes. That means the red light reaches our eyes. That's why the sun appears red during sunrise and sunset. So this is all about human eye and the colorful world.